Going on, everyone? Kyrie Irving to the Lakers. That's been the big report. Nobody wants Kyrie but the Lakers. Lakers make a ton of sense. They got LeBron James. And the idea is that a trade will be done. It's just a matter of when, not if. Now, they need to trade Kevin Durant. So there's talks and rumors and reports on maybe they trade Kevin Durant first, see what they get in return, and then trade Kyrie. And this has just been an absolute roller coaster ride of just information and constant updates, constant details being thrown out, one side or the other. A lot of the more recent stuff have been really Nets orientated, right? Kind of the Nets trying to gain some leverage, trying to gain some traction because they don't really have much leverage in a Kyrie Irving trade. You know, the Lakers know we're the only team that wants him. We're going to get him at some point. If you don't trade him this year, we can just sign him outright next year. And he's told everybody he's going to go sign with the Lakers. So you either lose him for nothing and we ride it out with Westbrook for a year, which we were already intending on doing before the Kyrie Irving trade, or you just trade us and we, figure out a deal. We'll take on Seth Curry. That way the deal matches. We don't want Joe Harris, which I don't think the Joe Harris thing is going to be the be-all, end-all. We'll touch on that a little more in a moment. But, and let's get this deal done. You're going to get some draft picks. You're going to get some nice compensation. And we'll take Kyrie. You run with Westbrook for a year. You can release him. You could trade him. You could do whatever you want with them. You have so many options. It gives you a ridiculous amount of cap relief, which you would need as a team going forward, trying to stay competitive, trying to stay relevant. It's a win-win for both of us. So let's do it. Let's get the deal done. Well, it was reported earlier by Shams that the Lakers have no real traction and that a deal may not even be done with Kyrie Irving, which could very well be the case. And, Shams is a very reliable source. But again, this sounds like something that the Nets would put out to try to gain some more leverage. All of this stuff is very Brooklyn oriented. Like everything we're seeing lately seemed to be this. I mean, it was reported about a week ago now that they had the groundwork done. It was going to be Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook. We'll do the swap, and then they just needed to figure out the little pieces. The Lakers are playing hardball because they know you have no choice. Like, what are your options here? And then you see the reports of the Dallas Mavericks and the Sixers wanting to trade for Kyrie. And it's like, no, they don't. The Mavs organization came out and said publicly, we don't want Kyrie Irving. Mark Cuban doesn't want him. Jason Kidd doesn't want him. No one wants Kyrie Irving. And that happened like a week before the announcement that the Mavs are interested. And then the Sixers, no way. James Harden left the Nets because of Kyrie Irving and publicly stated that it was basically because of Kyrie Irving. He had his whole rant. And then even when he went to the Sixers, he had a whole rant about just the organization over there and how they, the players don't have to show up and stuff like that. He wasn't talking about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant showed up to every game. He played. He was there. He was engaged. It was Kyrie Irving. So there's no way James Harden is going to re-sign, which he hasn't yet. There's no way that he's going to re-sign and them take Kyrie Irving on. Not just that, but Daryl Morey, the kind of GM and analytic guy and stuff like that he is, there is no way he's trading any assets for Kyrie Irving. If he could get Kyrie Irving for basically free, then maybe, but in reality, he's not. The Nets are going to want something back, and guess who has the best package? The Lakers do. So here you go. So I just think, again, it's a matter of when, not if. I'm not saying that Shams didn't get that report. Absolutely. He reported it because it was information that was told to him. But it was very likely that that information was told to him by the Brooklyn Nets side, right? And I understand the no traction thing. The thing is you got to look at how it's phrased. No traction. That doesn't mean that they're not negotiating. That doesn't mean that they're not talking. That doesn't mean that no deal is in place. It's just one side is playing hardball. And it's likely the Lakers that are playing hardball. And the point is, which side is going to blink first? Which side is going to say, all right, fine, we'll just do it? Is the Lakers finally going to say, all right, we will take on, Joe Harris, or do they try to work out a deal for both? Maybe I wouldn't mind that. If the Lakers went and got Seth and Joe Harris, hey, we'll take both of them. We'll give you Wynn and Gabriel. There you go. Another expiring contract. We need the shooting. So, hey, let's make it happen. You do Westbrook, Wynn and Gabriel, get back those two. If they want THT, maybe you throw in THT, but you don't really need to do that. And you take on the salary. The big argument is look, we're taking on $18 million a year for the next 2 years, which is why the Lakers don't want to do that. The Lakers want as much cap space flexibility because next year they would have $80 to $100 million in cap space to re-sign Kyrie, to re-sign LeBron James, and go get other pieces to fit. And that's why they want Seth Curry, because Seth Curry is an expiring contract. You take on Seth, you're in a good position. You got your lights out shooter, you're in a great spot. Not just that, but Joe Harris and Seth Curry, their numbers, if you look up their numbers, are identical. Same three-point percentage, same everything. Joe Harris is the better defender. I don't think the Lakers don't want Joe Harris. I just think he's coming off of ankle surgery, so there's a lot of questions and concerns about how is he going to return. And two, he's making $18 million a year. Like, that is the issue. If he was an expiring contract, they would take Joe Harris. I think this deal would have already been done. They would have taken Joe Harris twice. Okay, let's do it. Or if he was making a more reasonable amount, like say he was making like $9 million a year, right? Let's say it was $18 million over 2 years. I think they would do that. But they're looking at it as like, we're going to have to give this guy $36 million over the next 2 years. We don't even know if he's going to be able to play. Like, that's the big problem. Yes, we want to take Kyrie, but we don't want to take on salary for a guy that might not even be able to contribute, or if he can contribute, he's so immobile that he can't even be played. Like, that's the concerns, that's the issues. And eventually one of these sides are going to break. I just think it's a matter of when, because like I said, when it comes to Kyrie Irving, he's going to be a Laker eventually. So it's like, what do you want to do? Do you really want to go into training camp and start the season with Kyrie on your roster and having him sit and just make your organization hell for the next, season? Or do you want to trade him? Or do you want to just, lose him and we just sign him and we keep all our assets? And guess what? We can take those assets and go trade for a mid-tier guy to put around Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. Perfect. If you're the Lakers, it's almost in your best interest to ride it out and just go this year. If everyone's healthy, you'll make the playoffs. Hopefully, Darvin Ham can kind of get Westbrook to buy in and you can be a competitive team, something like that. But even if you're not, Kyrie's coming. So you don't need to be impatient. You have the patience and you have the time to get it done. And I understand Laker fans and stuff like that, they may be looking at it, it's like, no, get this deal done. But it's like, why would we get gouged? Why would we give up everything to go get Kyrie Irving when we know he's coming? We know sooner or later we're going to get him. And if you want to keep him this season and have him sit, the whole season and just make your lives miserable for another year, like you guys had an issue last year, right? That was the whole point. Like, that's why you want to get rid of Kyrie, because of the headache that you had to deal with last year. You want to go with that for another season? Go ahead. Because sooner or later, they're going to break. Sooner or later, the Nets are going to have to cave and give in. And, maybe, like I said, maybe they work it out and they find a happy medium and the Lakers take on Seth and they take on Joe Harris, or maybe they get a third team involved, something like that. It's always a possibility. Options are out there. And I'm sure that both sides are exploring it. Now, is it possible that a deal doesn't get done? Absolutely. But realistically, I think it's a matter of when, not if. And the Lakers can always just sign him next season. So however you shake it, I think sooner or later he's going to be a Laker. But that's my opinion. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, this is just the Nets putting information out there, trying to gain whatever leverage they can? Or do you think, no, they don't have to trade Kyrie. I mean, they could sit them. They don't even have to trade Kevin Durant. They could have them run it back for a year, and maybe let's say they run it back and they agree, let's do it for a year. Maybe if you win a championship, maybe they both say, okay, let's run it again. And maybe Kyrie signs another 1-year deal or something. Maybe you figure it out. I mean, winning solves everything, right? But based on the track record, the 3-4 years that they've had Kyrie and Kevin Durant, it doesn't look like they're going to win a championship. But you never know. Things could change. They got Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons buys in, he's a nice little compliment for those two. So you never know. I don't see how Kyrie doesn't end up being a Laker. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets, I don't think they want anything to do with Kyrie. I think it's very likely that they could wait and draw this out and then maybe trade Kevin Durant, see what the return is for KD, and then trade Kyrie, right? You kind of see where you're at. Make sure that you're actually going to trade KD, because they have a lot more leverage in KD than they do Kyrie Irving. So let's say you don't trade KD, then maybe you don't trade Kyrie and you hope that they can work it out for a year. But if KD gets traded, there is no way Kyrie Irving is going to stay on that roster. So that could also be something that they're waiting for. Maybe I'll make a video sort of diving into that more. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.